me to appreciate. I want to start expressing my very profound appreciation to you, Honorable Minister, and the Ministry of Education. The support that you give us has been explained by my chairperson. It enables us to get the resources and also the morale, Mama, to do the work even in some of the most difficult situations that the chairperson has mentioned. I also want to thank the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports for their efforts in obtaining, in ensuring that UNEB obtains the budgetary allocation that it needs to run the examination, and the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development for availing the funds. I wish also, Honorable Minister, to thank all those persons, the police, the UPDF, and other security agencies who rendered invaluable services to UNEB during the monitoring of the field conduct of the examination. They are part of the reason why we are seeing a reduction in cases of examination malpractice. I sincerely thank the area supervisors, these that represent UNEB in the field, and the heads of the examination centers and our invigilators who conducted the examination in accordance with the stipulated board's regulations and also adhered to the Ministry of Health guidelines on the control of COVID-19 and the Ebola outbreak. Allow me, Mama, to introduce two persons from the security who were seconded and worked very, very closely with us throughout the examination period. Mama, with your permission, I request them maybe to step forward and salute you. Mama, from the UPDF, we had Colonel Sylvia Meme from the military police, who on behalf of Colonel Don Nabasa, the commandant of the military police, coordinated all the efforts of the military police in assisting the board throughout the country. Then from the police, we have the Assistant Commissioner Godfrey Mate, who was also assigned from the side of the police. These two worked very, very closely with us to ensure the smooth conduct of the exam, right from transportation right to the very end. Mama, I also thank the examiners whose hard work ensured that the marking ended on schedule.
Inspiring Uganda.
And the personal sacrifices that they made to ensure that the 2022 UCE results are being released today. They are being represented here by a few of them. The Director of Examinations, Mr. Nangosia Mike Masiche. The Manager of Examinations Management, Mr. James Turiatemba. The Manager Examinations Development, Mrs. Florence Agola Buinza Nalongo. Principal Examinations Officer in charge of Test Development Secondary, Mrs. Joyce Awor Ebal. The Principal Examinations Officer, Examinations Management Secondary, Mr. Jonas Sunday. the Principal Public Relations Officer, Mrs. Jennifer Kalule Musamba, the Principal Assistant to the Executive Director, Ms. Letitia Naigaga. An Honorable Minister on my left, I have Esther, a very able special sign language specialist at the board. Access to the results, Honorable Minister, the heads of examination centers can download the results from their portals as soon as you release them. We do not have any hard copy results to be issued. And we are saying that from Monday, those who may still insist on coming for hard copies, they can come on Monday. And candidates and other persons who may wish to access these results can do so through the SMS system on MTN and Airtel networks. We advise that they go to the message menu, and type UCE and leave space. Then please put in the correct index number and then send to 6600. Many people continue to call us and say we are not able to access the results, when in effect they have made a mistake. They have not entered the correct index number. Either they have not put the stroke or they have entered insufficient figures. If you do that, you will not get the results. But the Airtel will, the network will have already charged you, although you don't get the results, so you will have to try again. Finally, Honorable Minister, we would also like to appeal to the heads of examination centers to study the examination lists and submit any queries that they may find to UNEB via their portal, and we ask that this is done within 15 working days from today's date. Queries that are submitted after this date may not be attended to. Honorable Minister, we have also prepared district statistics showing division passes, Division 1 or Grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Grade 9, and then Division X, meaning those that did not sit the examination although they were registered. We've done this for each district, and the districts are arranged in alphabetical order. And we have also disaggregated these statistics by gender. So you are able to see the number of males and the number of females that scored any particular grade in any of the district. Honorable Minister, allow me to submit. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odong, for the release statement. May I now invite the chairperson of UNEB to officially come and present the results to the Honorable First Lady and Minister of Education.
The First Lady and Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Museveni, on behalf of UNEB, it's my great pleasure to present the UCE results of 2022 to you for release to the country.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Okwakol, and thank you very much, Dr. Dan Odong, for the results 2023 UCE. Ladies and gentlemen, we all must agree here that UNEB has done a good job. We are all aware that we are recovering from many challenges associated with COVID-19, and this particular exam, it was conducted during a period when part of the country had issues, some districts of the country had issues. We also had some administrative issues internally there, but with the resilience of UNEB, all these were sorted out without a hitch. So we thank you, UNEB, and we hope that you'll continue doing a good job. Ladies and gentlemen, our Permanent Secretary, Madam Kati Lamaro, is in the house. You are welcome, Madam PS. And any other person that I was not able to recognize, I want to say now that you are welcome to this presentation. The cameras can move around as we wait for the minister to return. I am calling upon Honorable Minister of State for Hire, Honorable Muyingo, to be on alert. I'm going to request him to say a few words and also invite the minister to address the nation. Honorable Muyingo, this is just to alert you that in a few seconds I'll be calling upon you. I also want to thank my neighbor here who doesn't talk, but she's communicating a message to the country. Thank you so much. After all this, we shall have a photo session. And we shall have basically two photos. We shall have that great team from UNEB, led by their chairperson and the executive director, joined by our permanent secretary and the honorable members of parliament. They will have a photo session with the minister. Then after that one, we shall have a general photograph with all the officials who are here. So just prepare that at the end of all this, we shall call upon you for this photo session. Immediately after the photo session, we shall depart. Thank you so much. The examination term has started in our schools. We are also mindful that we are running out of time. Just last week we had this one selection. They are yet to report. Today we are concluding this release of UCE 2022. They will also soon report. I know it is stressful to the parents, but we shall try to space the candidates appropriately. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me now invite Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education, Honorable Jesse Miingo, to make a statement, a short statement, but also invite the First Lady and Minister of Education to give her address to the nation. Honorable Miingo.
Thank you very much, MC. Our dear Chief Guest, Mama, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, my sister, the Honorable Minister of State for Education, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, the Chairperson and members of the UNEP Board, of the Executive Director of UNEP, staff, ladies and gentlemen, oh, my dear colleagues, the honorable members of Parliament, apologies. Ladies and gentlemen, Mama, my duty this morning is very simple, to invite you and address the country. But allow me to make only two statements. One, Mama, I want to, on behalf of all my colleagues, to welcome you very warmly to this function. And thank you for inviting and hosting us in State House, Mama. Mama, we don't want to take this for granted. We know how busy you are, but your presence, personal presence here today, when we are releasing the Senior 4 results, confirms the great support and interest you have in what we do. Mama, I want to thank you. Mama, these exams were conducted during the time when Uganda was being terrorized by COVID and Ebola. This period was a very difficult period. There were very many fears, many uncertainties, but Mama, we want to thank you for the support, the care, and the guidance you provided during that time. Mama, we thank you for that great leadership. Is that enough, people? Mama has always been there for us, and we are really very grateful. Mama, the second point, and this is going to be the last one. Reports from the field indicate that some of our head teachers have completely switched off communication with the public. Their phones are off, others are not even in the school, running away from those pressures associated with the people who are seeking placement in their schools. I feel this is very dangerous, and I want to pray that our head teachers do not run away from work that requires their presence at school. Sit down, listen to what the parents are saying, explain to them. After all, you have our support. Mama, the second thing that comes from the field is that quite a number of Ugandans who are of the school-going age have not yet reported back to school for this academic term. This is equally dangerous, and I want to appeal to the parents, to the leadership, local LOC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, councillors, members of Parliament, to join our efforts to mobilize all our children of school-going age to go back to school as soon as yesterday. Mama, with those few comments, I want to invite you to address the country. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you, Honorable Miingo. My colleagues, Ministers of State for Education, honorable members of Parliament present here this afternoon, the PS for the Ministry of Education and your team, the chairperson of UNEB, the executive secretary of UNEB and your team, the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. And let me begin my remarks, as always, by thanking God for his faithfulness in taking our children through a very difficult time on the COVID-19 pandemic and Ebola outbreak, and he enabled them to sit for their Uganda Certificate of Education examination and to conclude without any tragic incidents or fatalities reported. Therefore, we do have every reason to celebrate this release of results, indeed just like that of the PLE 2022, and to testify that in spite of the challenges, God is still with us and he's still doing great things for us. Secondly, we have even greater reasons to celebrate these results and to report to the country that the candidature, as you heard from UNEB, the candidature which had declined in 2020 has now picked up and actually surpassed the previous numbers by a more significant proportion of 4.8%. This is indeed an indication that with God's blessing, we have largely overcome the problem of having closed schools for close to two years and the other effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in 2019, as you heard Mr. Odongo say, we celebrated the increase in the number of girls registering for the UCE examination, which had always been lower than that of the boys. At the time, we noted that not only had the number of girls completing PLE caught up with the number of boys, but also the number of girls was significantly higher than that of the boys. Unfortunately, however, in 2022, this positive trend appears to have reversed in favor of the boys once again. The nation therefore must be concerned that over 30,000 girls do not transition to complete the next level after PLE. Consequently, we at the Ministry of Education and Sports consider this a matter of great concern, and we find it necessary to provide an explanation to the nation regarding this challenge that affects the education and development of the girl child. I have therefore instructed the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education and Sports to conduct a study in this area that we may understand the issues at hand and authoritatively inform the nation. Now, once more, I regrettably note that the cases of absenteeism that have been decreasing have now increased again by 0.3%, meaning some 560 candidates over that of 2020, as I noted during the release of PLE 2022 results. This is of great concern to the ministry and therefore must be of concern to all the stakeholders. This is especially so since these young people are in school for all the 4 years. They then register for examinations, only to miss out at the end, thus losing out of transitioning to the next level of their education. So again, we must find answers to these questions, and we will. Furthermore, the ministry acknowledges the poor performance in biology, which has been reoccurring through subsequent releases of the UCE results. This matter is currently being addressed through the intervention of curriculum reviews. These reviews aim at, among other things, doing away with obsolete information, reducing subject content overload, and contact hours in the classroom, so as to create time for research, talent development, and creativity, among other things. This, we hope, will help improve the learners' performance. Similarly, the Ministry notes that this year, the overall performance in the science subjects that are compulsory is not yet satisfactory, although there is some improvement. Government is committed to promoting the teaching and learning of science subjects, as you know. The Ministry of Education and Sports will look into this matter and, where necessary, re-examine our policies to address areas of concern in this regard. Now, on a happier note though, as the chairperson of UNEB reported earlier, the government learned about the impact of COVID-19 on the teaching learning time and devised an abridged curriculum. This meant that the National Curriculum Development Center had to review the content and remove duplication in subjects that tended to lengthen the curriculum and the completion time. This exercise was accomplished at the right time. Therefore, it pleases me to hear that this did not have any negative effect on the core skills and competencies that learners require to advance to the next level. It is also noteworthy that UNEB examined the Chinese language for the first time, along with other foreign languages, as you have already heard. This is a welcome development. The knowledge of Chinese is vital for us, given the ever-increasing levels of engagements between Uganda and China in the various fields: educational, cultural, technological, and commerce. This is also why, as a country, we must ensure that our people can communicate in these major languages such as French, German, Arabic, and even Swahili at the East African level. These efforts strengthen our competitiveness in the global village. Now, as we emerge from the pandemic and the Ebola outbreak, God continues to work in formidable ways in our learners. They continue to obtain better results every year as more of them qualify to join higher levels of education. I therefore appeal to the teachers to give effect to the significant interventions that government has put in to improve the teaching of sciences especially. Talking about teachers now also brings me to the subject of the arts teachers, as you heard my colleague, Honorable Miyingo, remark. I cannot finish what I'm saying without mentioning the very important fact that government is looking to the arts teachers now to show their loyalty to God, to their government, and the children they teach. As I told you, teachers, at the World Teachers' Day, please leave the matter of your remuneration to your mother ministry, the Ministry of Education and Sports, working with the Ministry of Public Service. I reiterate that today. This is our burden as a ministry, and we will not rest until a fair solution is found. You go ahead and do your best and trust God to do the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the rise of examination malpractices now, and the equally disturbing issue of head teachers that misappropriate the learners' examination registration fees. This also continues to be a great challenge that negatively impacts on the education of our children. I wish to once again categorically state that the Ministry of Education and Sports will not tolerate examination malpractices. Indeed, the UNEB Act of 2021 provides for punitive action for those found guilty of participating in and condoning this practice. Additionally, I wish to warn the proprietors of schools who are found to be involved in the misappropriation of these examination registration fees that the Uganda National Examination Board will not hesitate to suspend or even cancel the affected examination centers, as is provided for in Section 32, subsection 4 of the UNEB Act of 2021. Finally, I'd like to thank the chairperson, the board, the executive director and staff of UNEB for the wonderful work they have done in successfully delivering the results of these examinations. I congratulate the candidates who have performed well, and for those who have not done as well as they expected, there is time to try once again, or to seize the other opportunities available to acquire skills for life. I join UNEB in thanking the security agencies represented here today by Colonel Memes Livia from UPDF and Assistant Commissioner of Police Mr. Mate Godfrey from the Uganda Police Force, and all other persons that worked in various agencies in conducting of these examinations. The selection exercise for Senior 5 now will be held on 23rd and 24th February 2023 at the Uganda Manufacturers Association Exhibition Hall. The date for reporting to school for Senior 5 will be the 6th of March 2023. It is now my pleasure to release the 2022 Uganda Certificate of Examination results for public use. As you have already seen, these are the results. I thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mama First Lady, for those wonderful, that wonderful statement to the country. Mama, may I request Honorable Muyingo to translate those salient, important messages in your statement and translate them into Luganda and present it to us. Honorable Muyingo, please. Just summarize the main issues in that language.
Mama, thank you very much. Summary, okusooka, Minister afulumiza ebyavudde mu bigezo ebyakolwa omwaka oguwedde abaana baffe ab'ekibiina siniya eyokuna. Minisita yeebazizza nnyo, Minisita era Maama yeebazizza nnyo Omukama Katonda ffenna atusobozesezza okutuuka wano we tuli, naddala yasobozesa abaana baffe beexaminers abakuteekateeka ebigezo bino ne basobola okubikola obulungi n'atuusa ku lunaku olwaleero. Maama Minisita si musanyufu olw'okulaba nti abaana baffe bangi, naddala abaana abawala, bakyava mu masomero nga tebannamaliriza kusoma. Balaze emitwalo 3 gy'abaana abawala abatamalaako. Era alagidde Permanent Secretary wa Ministry of Education and Sports okukola okunoonyereza tulabe nti abaana baffe bonna abagenda mu ssomero naddala abaana abawala bamalako. Era minisita mwennyamivu olw'okuba nti abaana baffe bakyagenda mu maaso nga bakola bubi amasomo ga sciences. Batugambye olwaleero nti biology lirimu gasinze okukolebwa obubi. Ekintu ekyo maama kimusanyusizza, era permanent secretary ajja kutwala obudde ne ttiimu ye nga banoonyereza kiki ddala ekivaako okukola obubi, era abaana tubayambye tutya olwo tujja kubanga tusobola okwogera n'eddoboozi. Maama musanyufu nti ku lukangaga lw'ennimi ze tusomesa era ze tubadde tu examininga nga UNEB kweyongeddeko okusomesa Oluchina, era abaana baffe abasukka mu 90% baaluyitidde waggulu. Maama yeebazizza abo bonna abayambye ku UNEB okulaba nti ebigezo by'omwaka guno bikolebwa ne biggwa mu budde. Naye ayongedde okukakasa kyeyagamba nti abo bonna abazannyira ku bigezo nga babbira, minisitule yaffe y'ebyenjigiriza tejja kubagumiikiriza wadde omulundi ogumu. Naye kinaaba kitegeeza to suspend oba okusazaamu examination center zaabwe. Tujja kukikola okulaba nti omuze guno kubba mu bigezo guggweerawo ddala. Maama yeebazizza abasomesa mulimu omulungi gwe bakola mu masomero, ate era n'abajjukiza nti ekigambo kyabagamba luli nti ekigambo ekikwata ku musaala gwabwe babitulekere nga ministry. Tukyagenda mu maaso okulaba nti embeera eyo egeetereera, ffe twenyigire ku mulimu gwa Katonda gwe yatuwa ogw'okusomesa abaana b'eggwanga. Ndowooza ekyo samala emala.
Weebale nnyo Honorable Muyingo. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, can we now stand for the anthems? But before we stand, we are going to have 2 photo sessions. The first session will have the First Lady and Minister and the ministers who are here of state, PS, UNEB Chair, UNEB ED, and the 3 honorable MPs will all be seated. Then the UNEB officials will stand behind them, and the security, police and the army representatives. That will be one session. Then UNEB officials will move away, and the minister officials will join and stand behind the ministers for the second photo. Thank you very much. May we now stand for the anthems. Thank you very much. Can we step forward? The first group, we go for the photos.
Delta TV.